Miketz, Miketz means the end. My father used to make a drasha. One of the parashiyot says Miketz. Now, means the end of one's life. They ask him 3 questions. And these 3 questions are Miketz. Number 1 is that we said, Mas'omatan. How was your Mas'omatan? Men Mas'omatan. How was your business? Did you do business with Emunah? You were honest with your business? Kuf Kabata Itim the Torah. Did you set time for Torah? And Sadiq Sipita le Mashiach. Were you waiting for Mashiach? There are 3 things that they ask the person at the end of his life, 3 questions. Now, it's very interesting. This parasha is Miketz. The name of the parasha is the end, and the end of one's life, they ask 3 questions that it's the abbreviation of this Miketz. Mem, Masa Matam, your business. How was your business? You were honest. Kuf Kavata Yatim the Torah. Did you set time for Torah? It's not enough person to learn Torah. Kavata, Kavut is very important. Shmuel brings it. Sadiq Sipita le Mashiach. You had hope for Mashiach. Having hope for Mashiach is very important. You should have hope for Mashiach. And all of the Indian of Hanukkah also is that the person should have hope. In other words, the Hashmonaim didn't lose hope. In other words, the person gets to a point that he feels that there is no more help. The person should know always there is Yeshua for Makadosh Baruch Hu would come. Now, by Miketz it was after 2 years, Yachad Kollel. Paro dream, that dream, in Omet Halayom. Now, very interesting, Torah should be the other way. Torah should say, in other words, the emphasis on the pasuk is not after 2 years. The emphasis on the pasuk is that Paro had a dream. Torah should say Paro had a dream, and it was 2 years. 2 years from what? What Miketz Shnatayim? What is Shnatayim Yamim? 2 years from what? 2 years of the days of what? From the time that was from the time that Paro was from the time that Sarah Mashkim and Sarah, right? From the time of Sarah Mashkim and Sarah. No, Torah should say Paro. Paro had a dream after 2 years, but this is after 2 years Paro, because again, no, this parasha is a parasha that talks about Hanukkah. The hints of Hanukkah is there. There is a cause and effect. Now, Yevonim would understand the way that life works is that Paro had a dream, and the dream was after 2 years, because everything has nature, everything has mikri, it happens. There's nobody in charge of the world. But Torah is telling us, no, Hashem programmed that. After 2 years that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants Paro to have a dream, now Paro has a dream. Do you hear the difference? The world would say Paro had a dream after 2 years, because the focal point, Paro had a dream, not after 2 years. Because that's a mikri, it just happened that had a dream. But Torah says, no, after 2 years, when that plan of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem is in charge, Hashem made the plan that Paro has to have a dream after 2 years. Now, these 2 years are 2 years that Yosef was supposed to be in prison for 10 years, and in other words, and 10, I think 10 is because of 10 brothers. In other words, he listed Lashon Hara for 10 brothers, therefore 10 is for that. And here was added 2 years. Why? Because, like Rashi brings, the last week parasha, that he relied on Sarah Mashkim. He says, Zochartani v'hotzatani. Now, Rabbi Gifter Zechuracha says, what's it? Was it tying on him? Zechartani v'hotzatani. Because he first of all, he says Zechartani 2 times, and then he says, Zechartani, you should remember me v'hotzatani, and you should take me out. Very interesting. No, Rabbi Gifter Zechuracha said, Zechartani, that's in Buddhist Tadlu. Tell him, remember me, but take me out for Yosef. It's not possible. It's not proper to tell a goy to take me out. Okay, good, you want to do Shtadru, remember me. But telling him, you take me out is too much for Yosef. And Chazal tell us, fortunately, the person that puts his bitachon to Hashem and he doesn't tell to Rahavim, to Misri. No, Hazal say, who is it? Ashrei, Hagever Asher Sam B'Tachal. That's the last Rashi, last parasha. Who is the fortunate that puts his B'Tachal Hashem? That's Yosef. No, and he doesn't put his B'Tachal, his trust to Rabbi. That Yosef, that he tries, that he relied on the Rabbi, which is a mistake. Now, before Shem asked, what do you mean? The beginning of the pastor starts with Ashrei, it's fortunate. Who is the fortunate? Yosef. At the end of the pastor says that he was punished. He was punished because he turned to Rabbi. What type of pastor is it? What are you doing? Are you admiring yourself or putting him down? What's happening in the pastor? Unbelievable point. Pastor is telling us what's the nature of bitachon. The nature of bitachon is, according to the level of a person, it's expected from the person to have bitachon. No, Yosef is fortunate. Why? Because his level of bitachon is very high. Since the level of his bitachon is so high, there is a demand on him. This act was not proper for him. Therefore, always, ishtadul and bitachon depends on the level of a person. Therefore, a person should be fortunate that he has such a great bitachon that having bitachon on a mundane thing is not proper for him. That depends on this. There's a Gemara in Shabbat. The Gemara says there was somebody had a baby, lady had a baby, and by the birth she died. Now the husband was very much in pain. What am I going to do with my baby? In other words, who is going to nurse my baby? Was so upset and so sad. What's going to happen? What did Akash Baruch Hu do? Hashem made the man to nurse the baby. Now the Gemara has a discussion. What type of miracle is that? Is it good? Is it bad? That's what my mom was saying. That was so ugly. Why is it so ugly? Because this person was so upset and so afflicted in pain that the only way that who could take him out of the pain was that he should be nursing something so ugly, something out of ordinary. But even Baruch has many ways to do it. Hashem would get a lady to come and nurse. Hashem would do different things. Once we have a trust like that, that's going to happen. But if somebody doesn't have that emunah and trust, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu would go and does something like that. In other words, to make something out of ordinary, that you should know that I'm in charge, I take care. It doesn't have to be out of normality. It doesn't have to be an ugly way. But Baruch Hu could do it in a nice way. Beautiful. Now we're going to go on a dream of Paro Chollel. Now in Torah, we don't say Paro Chollel. Say Vaydaber Hashem el Moshe. Always we say the verb first. Here it says Paro Chollel. Let's say Vayachalom Paro. Should say Paro. Vayachalom Paro. No, the Midrash asks, Paro dreams, other people don't dream? I say no. The dream of a king belongs to the nation. Therefore, Paro has a dream for the nation. Now, what's a dream? Omed al Haybo, standing on the Yod. We had Yak. Now, what does mean with that Yod? Because the Midrash over here says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, now the Tzaddikim have dreamed, Yaakov has a dream, and Paro has a dream. Yaakov has a dream, that's the ladder, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu standing over the ladder. And Paro has a dream. What's the dream of Paro? Omed al Haybo. What does al Yod mean? Over the Yod. What does over the Yod mean? On the Yod, standing on the Yod. Means, interesting philosophy. Yaakov, there is a ladder to get to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Paro, standing on a dream. Some Chachmei Musar say, if you want to find out your reality, see what's your dream. Because in the illusion and in the imagination, a person builds up, I'm like this, I'm like that. But in the dream, they show the essence of a person in his own dream. I'm talking about the right dream. It's not the dream, but it's dream because of he ate too much or he was thinking too much. Real dream. In the dream, you cannot play. You cannot pretend. They show what your essence are. They were here, Yaakov, they showed what is the systems. Systems was to get to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, become Baruch Hashem. Hashem. Paro is God, is below him. That's the philosophy of Avodah Zarah. Every Avodah Zarah in the world, why does he go after Avodah Zarah? Because he wants to shape the Avodah Zarah the way that he wants to. If you want Avodah Zarah, you have to subjugate yourself to Hashem. Somebody doesn't want to do that. He wants to shape up the God, the idea, the way that he wants to. He's Omed al Hayot. See, imagine somebody would go 120 years to Shamayim. They tell him, you weren't Eved for Hashem. You made Hashem your Eved. That's what the dream is. Paro, al means that is a very interesting philosophy in life. Person doesn't want after 220 years, they tell him that your God was an idol because you made HaKadosh Baruch Hu below yourself. You shaped up Hashem the way that you want. You shaped the mitzvah the way that you want. You didn't keep the mitzvah of Hashem. You didn't battle yourself to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Here, no, when he tells Yosef, he doesn't say, he didn't dare to tell Yosef that I was standing on Yaor. He said, Al-Sifat Yaor. You know, corruption. In other words, the way that he presents himself, he says, Al-Sifat Yaor. No, the dream would have been a much different dream. No, the David HaMelech tells him, says, by Yosef, Sifat lo yodati eshmo. Sifat, I didn't know, HaKadosh Baruch Hu let me hear that Sifat was not right. Paro made it up. It was on Yaor. Therefore, he understood. But Paro didn't dare to tell them that I'm standing on the Yaor. But that's the philosophy. You know, that's, they present themselves as all I did, but they really I did not. Now, what do we have to do? We have two dreams here. One dream, we have 7 cows come up, they are very good, and 7 other cows, and they are not good. And these 7 cows eat these 7 cows, and no change, nothing happens. But and they are the same. Therefore, one by that's Paro, and he gets up, and he dreams second time. No, but of head, Shenit. Why does it say Shenit second time? We know, in other words, Torah doesn't say any word that we don't need to say. If we went to sleep and dream, there's Shenit. Now, Shenit means Meshuna. Comes from Meshuna. What does Meshuna mean? Very different, very strange. Now, listen to this. The second dream is like the first dream, but this dream is Meshuna. What does Meshuna mean? It's very strange. Now, why is this strange? Because over here it sees 7 stalks of grain, and they are very good, and there are 7 that they are not good, and 7 were another word. By cow eating another cow, okay, cow eats, it's grass, but at least that's a function of eating and eat. But here in the dream, he sees that this stalk is swallowing another stalk. That's not normal. That's not the way that the stalk would do it. Therefore, here the pastor is there. Now, first of all, why do we need 2 dreams? Why do we need the cow? Why do we need Shibori? Because Yosef, in the dream, in the interpretation of the dream, he says, you're not going to have the plowing, and you're not going to have the harvest. Now, first of all, they said plowing is Nilos. In other words, or Nilos, in other words, this time didn't need to plow the land. Because Nilos would come up, cover all of the ground. But what does plowing do? Plowing makes the land soft to be for sowing the land, to put the seed in under the ground. But Nilos would do the job. Nilos would come and cover the ground. Even they didn't need plowing. And they didn't need any rain. Mitzrayim didn't need any rain. That's why Yaor is called Yomet al Yaor. What's Yomet al Yaor? What does Yaor mean? Why that's called Nilos? It's called Yaor. Yaor comes from Yaor. Yaor means that they made out of Yaor, Nilos, branches. And all of these branches, they watered all over the Mitzrayim. They were Mitzrayim. They told HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem, you think that you're like other nations that we need your rain? We don't need your rain. We have our own, we are self-supply. We don't need you. Paro made himself an idol through Yaor, because Yaor went and watered all over. Now, this dream is saying that, now what's this dream is saying? It's saying that, what do you think, Paro? You think that the plowing, you don't need the cow for plowing? There won't be a plowing. The plowing will not have. The cow is the symbolic of plowing. And the stalk are the symbolic of harvesting. It's encouragement that you're not going to have food in Islam. Very interesting. You tell somebody that there's somebody that relies on other, imagine a country that relies on other places. You tell them that you don't have food. Okay? You understand the danger. But somebody is a self-supply. It supplies for other places. I don't need grain, I don't need flour, I don't need anything. I could do it. I'm a self-employed. I could do it by myself. Now on that, the dream comes and it says that don't, even though that you think that you could do it and you feel safe, you are not safe. And that they start eating another stock also means it's very meshuma. The famine is not, they were accustomed to famine. They know that sometimes there is more food, more. So no, here is the swallow of the stock. Another stock means that the eating is very abnormal. The famine is such a great famine that the eating and feeding would be abnormal. That was the dream. Now in the morning, he calls Avraham Mitzrayim and he asked them to bring in poter otam leparo. Rashi says, what means the pasuk? Miketz says, in poter otam leparo means was the interpretation. They interpreted the dream, but it wasn't a paro. It wasn't sit down in his heart. In other words, again, this Torah is coming to tell us HaKadosh Baruch Hu is in charge. Hashem took away the chokhmah from the Khartoum. All over Paro had dream and the Khartoum said and everything was fine. What's the problem here? What's the problem? What's the problem here? Then Poterotam Lebaro doesn't sit in his heart because the Levychaim, the heart of the king is not about Baruch Hu. Hashem wants something to do, he does it. Paro doesn't feel comfortable with them. They used to tell him that you have 7 children, you're going to have 7 daughters, and they're going to die, 7 sons that you're going to. Whatever that they say, they sit in his heart. Why? So all over, he doesn't want first dream that he had. But see, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is in charge. What does Hashem do? Hashem makes that his heart should not go. Why? Because Hashem wants to bring Yosef inside. Now, what happened here? Sarah Mashkim all of a sudden said, I remember my head, I should be at the dream. And he said, whatever that he said was right. No, the Varshim asked, why Sarah Mashkim doesn't go to Yosef and tell him what's the interpretation, and he should come and do it? Now, they say that he couldn't have done it because a lot of times interpreting a dream is very dangerous. A person has to hear it himself directly and to know exactly what to say. And because Chachamim tell us that you should not tell your dream to anybody. Don't talk your dream, don't say your dream. And if somebody tells you a dream, always say something good is going to happen. Don't interpret it in that way because the Gemara says that the dream goes as an interpretation of the dream. Now, the pastor says, okay, and they rushed him out from the boat. Pastor Yudalet says from boat. Now, the first and he shaved and he changed his garments. In other words, Rashi says because of Kabod Malchut. This day was Rosh Hashanah. And Rashi is saying that how come he shaved and he changed his garment because of Kabod Malchut, he could do it. No, he said by the two men aboard, they rushed him out from the boat. If you please see last week parasha, the prison in Torah is called Bet Sohar. Bet Sohar called, in other words, last week parasha calls the prison Bet Sohar. Therefore, Torah should have said they took Yosef out of the Bet Sohar. But Torah doesn't say that take him out from Bet Sohar. Torah says they took him out from the boat. Now, before she say, why did Torah say that they take it from the boat, not from Bet Sohar? Because this boat means the well. It's the well that the brothers threw Yosef inside. Therefore, the brothers threw Yosef inside of the boat that they should take him out from that boat to come to Paro. All of the purpose of the boat over there was that he should come to Paro and to prepare the stage for the Bnei Israel coming to Mitzrayim. No, Vayan Yosef et Paro lemor. He comes and he says he's to Paro, Bil Adai, Elokim Yarech lo Paro. Now, a lot of times when somebody teach like Paro to somebody, he says, I'm expert, I know everything, I'm the one to carry your mission. But Yosef says, Bil Adai, it's not me. Elokim Yarech lo Paro. He related Gedol HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's very important in life. Person has to contribute, In other words, success is things to have a Baruch, not to get credit for what that does. In other words, it's not the question of Tarot. In other words, Yosef really believed that Hashem is doing it. And then he says his dream, he changes a little bit the dream, and he says all of the dream to Yosef, and Yosef said that all this dream is one dream. Whatever the Baruch is doing, Hashem is showing the Paro. Sheba Paro, in other words, it says that 7 cows is 7 years, that it would be full Seba and would be it, and 7 Rav comes after that. That's what Hashem is doing. Osei Rav Paro. What the Baruch is doing, Hashem Yushev Hashem Rav. We Sheba Shanim Ba'ot Sabat Motor Be'Evarim and this and Yachad Kollel, and the 7 famine would come. Famine comes 7 years and would be forgotten all of the abundance fruit that they had, because it's a terrible famine. And why did Torah repeat? Why did the dream was 2 times? He says because it's ready, and the Baruch Hu would send it. And should put upon somebody that they should know what was the dream. The dream was that what you should do, you should put the food from the 7 years of the Soba or the 7 years of the that you gather all of the things and put food all over. And it came out good and nice of Paro. And Paro told the Avraham, do we find somebody like that do Kimbo? No, he had to say that because he was the Ivri. Ivri was somebody, that they didn't cover. They didn't give cover and respect. Here, Paro says that this bond is different. Spirit of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is inside. Paro said that since HaKadosh Baruch Hu showed it to you, you are the one to do that, and according to you, everybody would benefit from you. Like I said, I give over everything to you. Just my chair, authority I should have, because the minhaj of the Messiah was that everybody knows more language, he should be the king. In other words, the king, they believe the king had power to be global. To be global means you have to know every language. What does mean every language? You have to know the culture of each country, how to deal with them, because you are the one to lead the world. King Paro was the king of the world. We have to know the language of every country, means how to relate to every country and to run. It's not just that you are over the Mitzrayim, you're over all over. Now, Yosef knew that Malach came and taught Yosef one language for him too. And then when he came to Paro, he said, Shalom Aleichem. What? There are no more language than you, and whoever knew more language, he would be a king. And then Paro told him that don't tell anybody that I came you, and you should be only I kiss and say, okay, swear for him. And that's the Midrash. Now the Midrash says, let's take a pasuk Membet. Membet is there, and Paro removed his ring from his hand, and gave it to the hand of Yosef, and he then dressed him with the garment of the shesh linen, and he put a chain of gold on his savor. Now the Midrash says here, Yosef had an incident with Eshet Potipera. Eshet Potipera that she wanted him to be with her, and Yosef didn't give in. No, the Midrash says the mouse that didn't do anything wrong didn't kiss her. Here gets the schar. On your mouth, everybody should get parnos. Savar, the neck that didn't do the avera, they put a chain of gold on your savar. The hands that they didn't do the avera and put ring on the hands. The raglaim that didn't step to go for the avera says, he had him ride the royal chariot of the king. That was a thing. Machshava, and they thought that he didn't have a wrong thought to do wrong thing. He was called Avraham. Paro called him Avraham. Avraham means of Rach. Rach b'nosh or noshim, and of the Chokhmah. You are like the father in Chokhmah, and you look wrong, young, but you are, therefore, you see from here, the Midrash is pointing out, person is an historian, person has a test. every piece of the test, there's a reward for it. There's a reward for it. So should I say, okay, like somebody was telling somebody else, Nebach, I'm a Jew, I have a lot of struggle in my life. What do you mean, Nebach, I'm a Jew, I have a struggle in my life? They don't do that. In other words, every struggle, every test, see the reward for it. Joseph, for every single thing that he did in his test, he got rewarded, and so much reward for whatever that he did. There were a lot of times, there was a Rebbe that whenever that he had a test and he was standing on the test, he made a tish. He sang HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he gives to those, a lot of times we have a nisayon and we lose something, we lose money, or we lose something because of the test that we have. We wanted to be honest, we wanted to be writing, deprivation. Then the deprivation, you feel, we lost it. But no, Avraham, we have to know that it's a great thing whenever the person is honest in the test. That in itself is something beautiful, something, and that's also chinuch. There's a lot of times you have to tell your son, I'm so proud of you, you didn't lie. I'm so proud of you, you're honest in this things. I'm very proud of you. Or you could tell yourself, okay, you see, we are Jews, we don't lie. I know that we feel bad that we are Jews, what should we do? That's not a type of talk. You have to tell him that, Baruch Hashem, I'm so proud of you. Baruch Hashem, Hashem gives the bracha, blessing. We don't need this money. Why do we need the money? What this money does to us? Paro called Yosef Sufrat Parneyach. What does Sufrat Parneyach mean? Sufrat means Safun. Pasuk Memhe. Pasuk Memhe. Perek 41, Pasuk 45. Now, Sufrat Parneyach means that the one who, Sofna means the hidden things. Parneyach means opens. He knew how to open the things. Now, imagine the empire of the world gives such a kavod and honor to Yosef, because prime minister of the king of the world, and the one that the brothers sold him, and he was in the well, he was in the prison. All of a sudden, he becomes such a great person, right? And he gives him Osnat Bat Potipera, Kohen on the Isha, by Yosef. Now, Osnat, remember I said that was the daughter of Dinah. The daughter of Dinah, Yaakov, very interesting. Yaakov hit her not to marry Esau. And Yosef covered Rachel that Esau should not have his eyes on Rachel. Very interesting. Therefore, Yosef, that is that. And Esau covered the Dinah for not to marry Esau, not the daughter of Dinah marries Yosef. And he was 30 years old when he started. And he brought everything. And now Yosef has two children. Very interesting. He called the Bechor Menashe. What does Menashe mean? Because he says that Hashem made me forget Amori, my hardship. That we understand. Hashem made me forget my hardship. And all of my household are my father. Therefore, he called his firstborn Menashe, comes from the word Nashani, means made me forget. When you forget Amori hardship, in other words, that the hardship in my life, who made me to marry my wife, I have children. And a lot of times the person would tell himself that, Baruch Hashem, I worked so hard, I got it. But Yosef doesn't think like that. Yosef doesn't say, I worked so hard and I got it. It's Hashem did it, Hashem gave it to me. No, then he says that Hashem made me to forget my household, my father's house. Why? You are in Galut. You have to remember your father's household, or you have to forget household of your father. He says, Nashani Elokim Kol Vavi, household of my father. Now, why should we forget the household of the father? Because it's very important psychology in life. See, imagine somebody used to live in Berenbach, and he moves to Los Angeles, or somebody lives in another Berenbach, and Yerushalayim lives to Malbamba, comes to Los Angeles, he has to come to Los Angeles and live here. Now he goes to shul, and he said, I used to daven with 200 Avraham. Now it's a shul, it's a shul. Now he comes to Beit HaMidrash. It's an empty Beit HaMidrash. I was in Beit HaMidrash with 100 people. This is a Beit HaMidrash. What would you do? He would not keep He would not do anything. Now, Yosef also could have the same nisayon. What's the nisayon of Yosef? Yosef was the one that he was with the father, with the Gadol Hador. Now he finds himself that, he has to keep everything in Mitzrayim. He wanted to keep Shabbat. This is Shabbat. I used to keep Shabbat. My father was such a great honor, great Shabbat. Now I have to keep Pesach. What about Pesach is that with them? That is a Yitzhak. Whatever that you have, you could do it. Here, that's the situation here is like that. Whatever that the situation is, accept and do it. Now, he called the second one Ephraim. Ephraim comes from Ephraim, reminding himself Avraham and Yitzchak. Because Avraham says, Anochi Apar Ba'efer, and Yitzchak says, Anochi Apar Ba'efer. In other words, all over, when a person gets to a high position, he would forget what happened to, in other words, he forgets everything. Now here, he says, Ephraim, I'm Afar, I'm nobody. That should remember all the time. The 7 years of the Sabbath were over, and 7 years of the famine started. Now, the Muslim came to Paro and told him that, we need food. Paro told him, what happened to your food? What happened to your food? He says that the food, our food, got warm inside. And in other words, Paro told everybody has to store the food. Now, Yosef did Avraham. No, there is a lot like the point like this. If you store with the dust and offal of the land, the offal is a preservative of the food. It keeps it. People kept it without the dust and offal. Therefore, warm and got destroyed. Yosef did that. They came to Pharaoh and told them that, we need food. Pharaoh said that I told you a story. They said, well, the story and got spoiled. But Yosef didn't get spoiled. He says, okay, go and do whatever that Yosef tells you. What did Yosef tell them to do? Yosef told them to do Brit Milah. All of them signed the Brit Milah. Now, what was the policy of Yosef to tell them to do Brit Milah? Because Yosef didn't want that Brit Milah should be a big test for the Jews to do in Mitzrayim. So he wanted the Goyim to do that the Jews should not be embarrassed. They should do it also. They were the Paro. They came and Omar Lahim came. Whatever that says. But Paro says that he decreed on the teruah, the crops, that they should warm and they got spoiled. If it decrees upon us to die, we gotta die. Therefore, here Torah is telling us that the empire of the world is submitting himself to Yosef. Yosef gets such a high position. Right? Who is Yosef? Yosef is the one that the brothers sold him. Now he became such a great person in Mitzrayim. Okay. Then Torah says, everybody came to buy crops from to buy provisions from Mitzrayim. Now, Vayar Yosef, Vayar Yaakov saw Yaakov saw Yesheve Mitzrayim, that these provisions being sold in Mitzrayim. Yesheve, my father used to say, Yesheve Shamati Yosef ben Rachel Sham. Shamati Yesheve. The Rashi Tevot is Shamati Yosef ben Rachel Sham. Shamati Yosef ben Rachel Sham. I heard that there was some prophecy. Says that he told the children not to draw. Why do you make yourselves conspicuous? In other words, it's a very big advice from Yaakov to his children. He said that in front of the Goyim, don't show that you have everything. Why do you show off yourself? Even though that you have food, but still you have to go. Whatever that everybody is doing, you should do. Don't show that you are better than God. That becomes a very important concept for us in God. We cannot show the Goyim are better than them. Even in this time that they had food. They had food, but still, he says that you should go. Redu. No, he says Redu. The gematria of Redu is 210. He had a prophecy that they're going to stay there for 210. Now, Apostle Kim says, but they went down, Achios the brother Yosef, Asara 10 to purchase grain from Mitzrayim. No, the Pasuk Gimel says, they went down, the brothers of Yosef 10 to purchase bar grain from Mitzrayim. Now, why is it Achei Yosef? Say Bnei Yaakov. Now, Rashi says that they were regretting that they sold Yosef, and he said that they are doing like a brother of Yosef. We're going to look for Yosef, and when we find Yosef, we're gonna pay no matter how much money they want to save Yosef. Why did they went 10? Because Kedele Palel. The Midrash says they went there 10 to be mitpalel on Yosef. Yosef should be found. 10 people as a sibur to double. And beyond that, maybe this disaster would happen to him. And they came to buy, and they came from 10 gates. Why they got from 10 gates? Because they wanted to see all over. They went to places that they saw that Yosef is a handsome person. They found it that they're going to be with the adultery and this type of things. And they went and they got them. They said that we're 10 people, why are you coming from 10 different places? That's why they got suspicious without them. And they recognized them, and they told them, you're a spy, because why did you come from 10 places? And no, the question is, why Yosef is doing all of these things? If Yosef has such a power and he knows his father is in pain, he should rush to save his father, to tell his father that I'm alive, everything's fine. Ramban says that why Yosef is doing the greatest crime. He knows that the father is in pain and he doesn't do anything. Why doesn't he do anything? Ramban says that because the dream was a prophecy. What was the prophecy of the dream? That they should come and bow down to him. That's why Yosef didn't do anything. It's unbelievable. If Yosef would have gone to any rabbi, anybody would say, go to the border, is a shalom, this and that. But Yosef, daily basis, every day for this 7 years of the famine and 2 years, 9 years, every day he had this nisayon to go tell my father or not. So no, the prophet of HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, therefore he submitted himself to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yosef midah is to submit himself to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. No, they said that you are not mirakelim, and we came here to buy. He put them in prison for 3 days. The Midrash says from here, not more than 3 days, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu would not let the Sadiq to be more than 3 days. 3 days would be sad, and then he sent them out. They don't go. No, to go and bring, if you are saying you are 12, bring the youngest child, the Binyamin, bring Binyamin. No, Pasuk of Aleph, the brothers, when they heard that, about Ashemi Manachnu. Aval means indeed. Ashemi Manachnu, we are guilty. We saw that he has anguish of his soul, and he begged us, and we didn't listen to him. They are not regretting the act of selling. They are saying that since he was begging us not to sell him, we should have listened more, we should have considered him. Reuben told them, I told you not to do it. Now, what Yosef is doing, Yosef is trying to get kapara for them. Yosef is not giving a kama to them. Now, what's a kapara? Midah by midah, measure by measure. They told Yosef, they told him that you are saying Lashon Hara to our father, you are miragel, and you are gossiping about us to your father. Now, measure by measure, called them miragelim to mechaper on the fact that they said, like, they throw him in the board as a prison. Now, Yosef put the brothers in the prison, measure by measure. What Yosef is trying to do over here is not trying to get the karma. Ramban said it was the greatest crime. Yosef didn't go and tell the brother that I'm alive. The father is suffering. Go and tell him. It would have been the greatest crime. Why didn't do it? Because the prophecy of the dream was a prophecy that they have to come and bow down to you. You're not allowed to go. Now, what is he doing with the brother? No, he's beside the brother. Why is he doing that? Now, the first thing said, he wants to get kapara for the brothers. The perspective. You want to do something good to your friend. A lot of times you want to, somebody said, I have a good friend, whenever that he goes someplace, to have some fun, not kosher fun, he takes him. What is it doing to him? You're destroying him. It's destroying his neshama. Somebody is good to somebody for a while. Somebody is good to somebody. Somebody is good to somebody forever. Forever. That's the Hatava. That's the friendship. Yosef cared for the brother. He wanted to act in a way that the brothers should get kapara. No, the brothers, they suspected him of he's a miracle to the father. What is he doing? He's spying them to the father. He's telling them bad report to Adam Ribbon. That's what the last parasha says. He gave a bad report. Therefore, measure by measure, he told them miracle. You are a miracle. To be mechaper on that day. And then they put him in the bowl, in the well. He put him in the prison, measure by measure. Shimon was the one who said, the Baal HaCharamot come, let's come and kill him. He took Shimon and put him in prison more. And when they sold him with the kesef, slim kesef, with the kesef he put he gave back the kesef to them, and through the kesef annoyed them, measure by measure. It's a very interesting way of looking at the measure by measure. And they told him, Machru told the Eved, and when they sell him as an Eved, then everybody says, well, Eved to you, Yosef. Therefore, what Yosef is trying to do over here is, Yosef is trying to make them to do tshuva, that they should be mechaper the avon that they did. Hello, no, in the Apostle, Torah says, Yosef cried. And he came out and told them that, you know what we do. No, we find in Torah that 3 times Yosef cried. 3 times Yosef cried in this procedure of dealing with the brothers, when he, not in one hand, he's talking harsh with them, in the other hand, he goes to Chedra. Torah says he went to this Chedra, his private room, and cried. 3 times Torah says. Now the question is, why crying? Why Yosef cried so many times in this? And all of the concept of Yosef, what he's trying to do, see, Chachamim tell us, what's the crime? See, the eye is judgment. What's the judgment in the person? When you look at something, you judge. So, Sanhedrin is called Enei Ha'edah, because Sanhedrin is the betting. Betting of Charisol goes Enei Ha'edah. No, whatever that the HaKadosh Baruch Hu has in his own malchut and his own kingdom, he created by human beings. Now, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has something is called judgment, because Hashem sees. And the seeing, when you see somebody seeing things, you observe to judge. Therefore, with your eyes, a person also judges. With your eyes, you see somebody judging. What type of person is? But the eye is judgment. Eye is thing. Now, it's interesting that this thing, now, what tears comes out of the eyes? No, Chacham Zohar HaKadosh says, even though that HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't accept the tefillah of a person, Sha'arei tefillah got closed, but Sha'arei tears were not closed. Always Sha'arei tears are there with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now, what's tears? Tears is when a person from the judgment brings chesed. That perspective from the eye, which is judgment and the din, the tears, water is water of chesed. Water is chesed kindness. When it comes down, tears turns over the judgment to chesed. And what Yosef is trying to do over here with the brothers right now is a state of judgment, very harsh judgment. Asura again, Malchut is because of that. Everything is happening because of that. Yosef is trying to be metaken, to fix the kuda. Therefore, in other words, the crying means that I'm trying to make the judgment from the judgment to come to, from the judgment, they should come to the chesed. And all what Yosef is doing to the brothers, and he put the kesef in the amount of them, and they go and they come back, they're so afraid what happened. All of these things Yosef is doing, the intention of Yosef is to be mechaper on them. And that is the real friendship. The real friendship is that when you confront somebody to see how could you give him the everlasting, just doing something that no. What happened? They take them back and they find it. They put the cup in in the law that they have, and they find it by Binyamin. In other words, when the Yehuda, they come back, and Yehuda comes to Yosef and tells him that, what should we say? We are all about it for you. But Yosef tells them that no, or the version of Yosef says that no, you should go home and we take just Binyamin. Just take Binyamin. Once he says that, Yehuda comes and talks. Now, before him say what's pshat. In other words, first the brothers accepted the Malchut of Hashem. This is a Geser on us because we sold Yosef. Now they know that Binyamin is not guilty. Once he said that I take Binyamin and everybody should go home, then they understood. Yehuda comes close and he says that no, by Gash Yehuda, he comes close and he said that no, it's not. Now, if he's trying to get everybody, Yehuda said, I'm going to be here and send Binyamin to go. I'm much better than him. Now, Yehuda here is not Yehuda wants to, Yehuda is saying that I'm staying here in Binyamin, but it says Binyamin, I take Binyamin. Now, before she say what's pshat here, it's a very interesting pshat. There's a Mishnah in Avot. The Mishnah says, if somebody is mebatel Torah through being poor, he's going to mebatel Torah when he's rich. Somebody who's mekayem Torah when he's poor, he would be mekayem Torah when he's rich. Now, poor and rich is not just a monetary aspect. It's in the authority, in the power, in the what the person is doing. Now, in other words, they sold Yosef very free land. In other words, they felt the profit is to sell Yosef. Somehow they were convinced like that, and they sold Yosef. Now, while they sold Yosef, it was in a very free land, very with their own desire they did it. Now here, to be mechaper that, they have to be in so much pressure and in so much pain for Binyamin, for the father. In other words, what we did on a free land, Yehuda is saying, the brothers are saying, and we didn't care to the father and we sold Yosef. Here, we are ready to give over ourselves for Binyamin, for the father, to mechaper the avon that we did to the father. See, life has a perspective that what we do, what we go through, is a kapara for our life. Everything has a reason, everything has a cheshbon. In other words, the kapara for that, Joseph is bringing such a stage of kapara for them. In other words, in a very at ease. In other words, at ease means that they for their own benefit and profit. They sold Joseph in a very, very drastic way, and they made so much pain for the father. In other words, they did it with that mood too. Now here, with full of pain, with full of anguish, with full of hardship, they are ready to give over everything, not to put father in the pain. And that was mechaper, the avera that they did. And all of the things that Joseph is doing over here is trying to get this kapara for Kahal Israel. And Joseph is the one who is the foundation. And we said that Joseph becomes the empire of the world because Pharaoh tells his nation to go and to do whatever Joseph does. In other words, somebody who is mekaber, the malchut of Hashem, the kabbalah of the malchut of Hashem, and submitting himself. The brothers told him, he put in prison, he didn't complain. Everything of Hashem, he becomes to a point that becomes the vice president of the world. In other words, from where to where he gets. And that, by the way, is the discussion over here between Yehuda and Yosef, is Mashiach ben Yosef and Mashiach ben David. In other words, these two, the Vilchama with them, Mashiach ben Yosef has to prepare the world for Mashiach ben David. And that's what's happening here. Yosef has to come vice president and to make the path for Mashiach ben David to come, which is Yehuda. In a fight between Yosef and Yehuda is that they should coordinate together, both together. Whatever that Yosef did over here, that's why he became vice president. That was going to happen. Mashiach ben Yosef becomes vice president of the world and prepared the way for Mashiach ben